Okay, so I have to clarify a few things from my, I guess, ranting reaction to Kepke's post. And I don't remember what the even original one said, but it seems like almost painting the women, especially single women, as the problem. And I don't know, but then I read another post. It's like, if there's not a mom and a dad, like then the government or whatever, then if there's not a mom and a dad in the family, then there's no way to have small government because then there has to be assistance for all these. I feel like almost like these sinful, I don't know. It just sit right with me. But in any case, and I look kind of blah today, right? Because whatever. But um, when I say that men are inferior, now was certainly not talking about my Time Lord, and when I said they want to, I was not directing that at probably a lot of the men, maybe some of the men that I've known throughout my life, but not that I have a lot of friends anymore anyway. But for the record, and oh man, well I can't. I'll have to talk about it after it happens. But I think there's gonna be kind of a date this weekend, but it's not really. It's not a typical. I don't know. It's an event. But I'm gonna treat it like a date because I can. But a very unique one. I'm not gonna say anything about it until after, and I'll take pictures. Maybe, unless something. Well, we'll see how it goes. But I'm exhausted today. It's been a long day. There's a lot of uh, brain usage today. Taking assessments for worky things and whatever. Well, one of my assessments had to do fact checking, and it was like one of the things I had to fact check was about the brain. It talked about how the myth of people using only 10% of their brain, and in reality it's 100%. So I found an article from MIT that talked about how people use 100% of their brain. If there's some damage for some reason, if they don't have 100% of their brain mass or whatever due to brain damage, the brain, it will use what it has, 100% of what it has left. And the brain will rewire itself. So in the case of like MS, now with the brain stem, it's a really tiny area to work with, so it's very hard to rewire and send signals, which is what I was trying to explain to idiots in the past. But the greater structure of the brain, so even where the hypothalamus, so the temperature centers, the temporal lobe, that's the mood things, like you get enough brain damage, then everything has to rewire. Well, I'm telling you, part of what happened is when I was rewiring, I was in some really terrible conditions around some really terrible influences like Guy fucking Zima. For example, I'm not saying anything about anything, but maybe I am. But for the record, not to bring that up, but it just really opened my eyes to everything that I've been through and overcame, and how magical I am and my brain is, and nobody even said wow, because it truly is a miracle that I'm still here, and a miracle that my brain still kind of works. Although I think that when it got rewired, it kind of, I don't know, some of it's coming back, right? But I'm not the same person I used to be. Like every bit of brain damage is like, well, the brain has to rewire, and that's probably part of why I don't know how to explain it, but it's like if you forget everything, you forget everything, right? So I don't know. I'm probably explaining it really bad, but the long and short of it is I'm super excited that there's going to be, well, okay, so I was doing some research on foreign money that's not really worth anything, but just like learn history and see if maybe it was worth something. But in any case, it got me ticked off because there wasn't any euros in this collection. There was lots of pounds and like a franc and some other stuff, but it's like, bah, no euros, right? So then I learned that you can, like, there's not pictures of people on the euro, but there is like two of the issuances or whatever you call it that have Christine Lagarde's signature on them. Then I was thinking, I should get make sure that I have some money with Yellen's signature too. We start collecting woman money. But Lagarde has led the way for a redesign of the euro, which is amazing because it's almost kind of letting everybody know, hey, digital euro is not going to replace cash. It's just going to, like, work hand in hand with it. But there's some really nice designs, like the designs that so anybody from anywhere can contribute their opinion on whether they or not they like the designs. But it's like women. It's the ones that I voted on was all women and birds. And as soon as I saw those birds, I was like, European starling. And I think that it's like, it was called the River something series. It's something River something series. And I was like, River and Songbird. And it's like River Song, right? But that's another story for another day. But all I know is life is good. I am grateful. And I'm going to keep standing up for women. And I said what I said. The left wing tried to cancel us and say, if you don't worship our lady penises, and say, oh, well, yes, I am a cis woman. No, I'm a fucking woman. That's, But, so the left tried to cancel us, and now the right's, like, trying to paint us as Satan. It's like, we're the whores of Babylon, like, making all the government debt because we're just having all these fucking babies. I mean, at least in one of Vanya's other posts, he talks about the dad walking out, so I know deep in his heart of hearts that he understands how the world works, and he's probably got to pander to a bunch of fucking morons, so I don't want Bonnie Kepi to think I'm on the Kepke hate train, because I'm certainly not, and I don't know, I've said to him before, okay, so if Jesus is God, where the F is Jesus' wife? Or if God is God, where the F is, if Jehovah's God or whoever's God, where is God's wife? Well, that's certainly not in Christianity or even really Torah. Although maybe in Kabbalah, I'm not really sure, but women are going to take over the fucking world, I'm telling you what. So I'm super excited that I can allegedly, according to the internet, Associated Bank, if I order some euros, I might be able to get some euros. Like, hello, I have $5. I would like well, I don't know what the exchange rate would be. I want the equivalent of I want 5 euros, so I don't know how much that would cost, but they all have to have Lagarde's signature on it. And I would also like to question, why can't Lagarde be on some money eventually someday? I'm going to make that request right now as an American. You know why? Because, I mean, I know I'm an American, but watching Lagarde, just do her thing. Well, first on WEF, at first I was like, Well, at first I was actually kind of intrigued, but I had to do the role of, Well, I didn't have to, I just did. But anyway, because I'm one of those stupid Americans, right? But so anyway, but then watching her do her thing and then go all over, and Kristalina Georgieva, but I don't know if I want to, well, she's probably all Euro too, because once upon a time, I don't know, I don't want to get into the whole World Bank thing, but, oh my God. But anyway, there's a point to this, maybe someday, but I think that Lagarde should be in some money, and probably Yellen too, just because I freaking said so. You know why? Because Janet Yellen, it also sounds like Wendy Coriel. There's Yellen and Coriel, and there's the Y's, and there's the I's, and there's the whatever, and women are awesome, is my point. And we're rare. That's something else too. So I meant that, society-wise, men from every side keep us small so they can control us, so they can have their choice, alleged choice of who to fuck. Because if they keep us small and dependent and then blame us for all the government problems, you know how that shit goes. And I've had quite enough of that shit. So I'm all for Lagarde taking over the United States, or at least working with the United States to give me the option to get more euros with more women presidents. I mean, with more, well, you know what? I hope Whitmer runs. That's all. Anyway, that's my video. And like I said, women are awesome. And MS, multiple sclerosis, is not so awesome. And people who judge me for something that was out of my control and want to sit there and say, oh, you smoke cigarettes. That's not what fucking gave me MS, you fucking dumbass. So, get a life. Anyway, that's my video. Hopefully, my friend Rhonda's like kind of keeping up with some of this as best as she can, because she one thing Rhonda said that I really liked is that she didn't necessarily agree or disagree with me, but I probably had some points as I figured stuff out, and that's some of it. Like, try figuring stuff out with a broken brain. I was just explaining to Mike, like, it's every time it happens, it takes the brain a while to heal, and if it's having to rewire itself every single time, like, well, you end up with a mixed bag of chips, right? On the plus side, well, we'll talk about the chips and the Neuralinks at a later date, I suppose. Anyway, that's been my video. I hope I don't look too haggard today. Well, I hope you didn't mean Hagar the Witch. But anyway, now I'm done. Peace, love, light, and kittens. Later days. And did I mention that women rock and God is a woman? Okay, maybe I did. But I just want to make sure I mention that again. All right, peace. You know, why is God a woman? Eggs, man, because eggs are rare. Sperm are everywhere. The seed, they fling that, the sperm go everywhere. There's nothing rare, unique. There's like billions and bazillions, and they're everywhere. They're almost like bacteria. I don't know about bacteria, but they're like everywhere. Whereas eggs are rare. God loves women. You know why? Because God's a woman. Or at least more like a woman. You know why? God's chaotic and sometimes cruel, but also beautiful and amazing and all those things. And that's what a woman is. I mean, that's what my Time Lord is, too. Well, yeah, the beautiful part, too. I was going to say more sexy, but on the inside, beautiful. I don't know if guys like being called beautiful, though. He's kind of, I don't want to say he's a manly man, but he likes tractors. You call a guy who likes tractors like beautiful? Well, I might. I'm just sexy Time Lord. I don't know. I'm bad at this shit, social stuff. Anyway, now I'm done. 12 minutes of blah blah blah. Euros.